Hey everybody, this is Joe over here at Joyful Noise Productions, ready to do another mix. Now this mix is kind of a little bit different than the normal mixes I normally do. This mix is more in more kind of a little bit of a different vibe. Obviously it's kind of a form of R&B, but you know, obviously it was something people would dance to. So this song was written by a guy by the name of Wayne Snow, or Wayne Snow, and the song is called Nina. One thing, it has a really cool vibe about it. It almost sounds like the old 70s kind of feel to it. Maybe I should put a little bit of guitar into it. Maybe one day I'll experiment with that to see how all that works. Now, basically the song, the way it works, it goes something like this. You have your drum loops, and also you have your key loops, and you also have the lead vocals along with some backing vocals that go along with it, and also you have a bass. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Now, as you begin to see right here, I got a lot going on right here, but as you also begin to notice that I'm really not using much EQ in all this, and you know there's a reason for it. One thing I've learned from Warren Hewitt, when he was talking about the things you must do as an audio engineer, he said he learned one simple lesson, and then he says that less is more. So there are some things that have got the EQ on them, but then there are some that are not. Now, obviously there are some things I'm using. For example, I'm using a lot of this new plugins. It's called Toucan, from Toucan Studios, run by a guy by the name of John Matthews. And these kind of effects, or these plugins, one thing that makes it different from every other type of plugin that I've come across, these are JavaScript plugins. It's kind of crazy in the way they work, but they work almost as good as a VST. And in my personal opinion, they're a little more effective, and they don't bog down the machine as much. Because I know with VSTs, you got these DLL files, and they usually take up a lot of pressure on them. Take a lot of processing out of the computer, so that's why sometimes you may feel the computer bogged down. But the good thing about this one is this: I don't have to worry about that. So when it comes to the JavaScript plugins, there's you don't have to worry about their speed going down. Now, the first mix we're going to tackle is this right here, which is the drums. Okay, as you see right here, obviously I'm running a splitter. I'll see the good old SMG splitter that I always use to kind of spread the tracks out a little bit. But the one thing that I got right here is the tape recorder. One thing that's cool about it kind of gives a little bit of that old school type of feel to it. So it kind of gives a little more of that beef in a sense, where it emulates an actual tape machine. It really does actually work. It's no gimmick. And right here also I'm using a RIA EQ. Now, one thing about a lot of the EQ, the effects that I'm using, as you probably see, they're the plugins that already come in with Reaper already. But also I'm using the Toucan, which is designed for Reaper. So again, it doesn't bog down the machine, because one thing about Reaper is that it works under under JavaScript, so it keeps everything flowing. Now, let's go ahead. Before I go any further, let me go ahead and just take off all the and kind of give you the effects, and let me give you a sound of how it would sound. So you hear that old kind of 70s R&B kind of vibe in the drum beat and stuff like that. Now, as I go into the further here, I'm gonna go right into my actually let me go this way. Okay, so here we go. And so as you can see right here, these are my effects right here. Obviously, I'm gonna leave the splitter on. Okay, now one thing about the about the tape recorder, what it's going to do, it's going to fatten up the sound and kind of get a little more of that lo-fi kind of simulated sound. So when I play it, it's going to sound something like this. So right now, here's the original sound. So you see, it sounds a little more lo-fi a little bit. So this preset's called Smasher Drum Loop, which is cool. So, so like again, it gives it that lo-fi kind of sound. Now, if I apply a little bit of the re-EQ to kind of clean it up just a little bit, as you see, it still kind of gets that old vibe a little bit, and it allows it to be able to kind of still maintain that 70s sound, but at the same time keep it brand new. Now, there's really not much to talk about. Obviously, the keys are all integrated into one loop. But the thing I want to focus on is the lead vocals at this point. Actually, we kind of go to the lead vocal bus. Now, there are some parts where he's doubling the vocals. Okay, like right here. Usually, when you have a doubling vocal, it usually gives it a little bit of a little bit more of a wide, spacious sound. So when you put the two vocals together, it's going to sound something like this. But before I go any further, let me go ahead and take all this off real quick. Okay. So when I play it, it's going to sound something like this.
Oh yeah, Nina do it. Yeah.
So as you kind of hear, it's doubling. It kind of has like what they call a bit of a chorus effect. So when you hear it again. So it kind of has a little bit of that stereo spread that you need. But if I get to apply the effects a little bit, it's going to make it sound really killer. Now, as you probably see, I do have a cock blocker right here. What that does, it gets rid of any other little noise that may come out through the recording. Like coughs or stuff like that. That's the one thing you really want to need that for. Now, one thing that's cool is I got a regular normal compressor that's available to me right here. So I really ain't going heavy on it, but what it does, it keeps the vocals even and level. So that way when I use it, it keeps everything balanced. And that's basically what the compressor is. So when you think of a compressor, I obviously think of a water hose. You hook the water hose up to a faucet. By the time it gets out to the end, it all splats all over. Oops, it splats all over the place. That's what a compressor does. It kind of keeps everything all in one hose. So that way when or you even plug a nozzle through it, it keeps everything level and straight. So that's one thing about a compressor. And obviously I'm using a 4-band EQ. I'm kind of rolling off the little bit of the bass a little bit, or kind of give a little more of a smooth sound with using the high pass filter on this. Now also what's cool right here is I'm using an old school or actually supposed to be a model of an old school Lexicon reverb effect, which is pretty cool. I mean, right here you see 80s ambience, so so it kind of still gives like that late 70s, early 80s reverb sound. So when I put it all together, it's gonna sound something like this. So I'm gonna start right here. Okay, all right.
Stop in the kitchen with a butterfly.
So as you hear it, the reverb gives it a little more of that smooth sound.
Music in the making.
Then also we're gonna come.
All the rest is free.
We're gonna come right here, into the doubling right here.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I've done with all the vocals, as far as the lead vocals are concerned, I put them all together, and I'm just using one area just to process all the vocals. Since these two are pretty much the same. Now, if we come right over here, we kind of set all this up. Okay, they're actually back in vocals. Now, right here, as you can see, this is right here is the is the backup harmonies. Now, the cool thing is, again, it's maintaining its vibe in the way it should sound. Now, right here is as we look into the effects. Also, we got the splitter, the EQ. Then we also keep the compressor. We keep everything kind of a little bit level, and because there's a little bit more voices, and let alone you got more different harmonies that are involved, especially when you got bass harmonies that kind of like that may come off and kind of hit right in hard. So you use a compressor to kind of help smooth it out a little bit. Now also right here, and I still got my lexicon right here. Okay, the same 80s program set up. Now when you play it together, it's gonna sound like this.
Break down the rocks, turn down the heat, but never stop. You know the drill. The words on hold, mission complete. We won't move. Oh yeah, need I do it? Yeah.
So as you see, all the voices line up together. But what helps with that is the compressor. So that way when I'm able to line the backup vocals, they pretty much almost come the same exact way. And they line up the way they should. So that's one thing I'm really, like I said, there's really not much to go into this. Now, maybe a little thing I might do here is maybe talk about this guy right here. Okay. This guy is called my distressor. Some rock producers will use this a lot because it creates a little more of a sludgier distortion, sort of kind of sound, or kind of gives more of a, or I shouldn't say organic, but it really makes it stand out a little bit more. As you probably see, I got the settings all set up a certain way, so that way when I put it in, when I put it in, it'll come out. So, like I said, I'll just leave it right there right now. Let's just say I'm kind of using it for another. I'm thinking about using this for another bass setting, so I might just bring that up. Yeah, see there, yeah, so it has bass, so that means this is the bass setting right here. So if I need to kind of put up a little harder, I could be able to do that. Now, when I put the whole song together, obviously it's going to sound something like this. Now, let's go back to the beginning.
Need I do it? Yeah. Stop up in the kitchen with a butterfly.
See, it has a little bit of that 70s bass line, which is really cool.
This music in the making.
And plus it has that Fender precision bass sound too.
Need I do it? Yeah.
Making sure my meters come out the way they're supposed to.
Break down the rocks, turn down the heat.
Now,
but never stop.
One thing they always say, don't ever EQ with your eyes.
The words
but then again, you kind of have to set the levels to a point where when you put on YouTube or stuff like, or songs on YouTube and stuff like that, you won't have to worry about anything coming at you. So, because YouTube already has a thing where you can be able to balance out all the levels and stuff. But then again, not all the videos that go on YouTube are always level. So usually as a rule of thumb, you have to keep it at a certain point, and having this loudness meter kind of helps out a little bit, especially when I go right here in this area right here. That helps me to know where I'm at, even though I'm a little high. But because of the fact that this has helped me kind of see where everything is at, I can be able to adjust it later on, so I can be able to bring bring it down to where I'm supposed to get at. So even though on Reaper, I can be able to have it render at a certain level. So that's the beauty of using Reaper and stuff. Now, as you can see, this is something totally different, but it's something I thought was really cool because I like the way the sound is. And unfortunately, as a kid, I kind of grew up under that stuff because of my mom. And even though my dad was a rocker too, but obviously being around my aunts and all that, it kind of created that, that love for this kind of music. So as you get to see, this is what I would normally do. if I'm mixing something that's kind of R&B-ish a little bit. Now, when it comes to R&B music, again, everything you do is by ear. So when you begin to mix and things like that, you want to kind of get in that mindset of what it was in that time. Now, like for example, I did a video of a country song. I liked it because of its old vibe, so I kind of had to give it that old vibe kind of feel. I might kind of revisit that mix, but as right now I'm kind of redoing everything on Reaper, because let's just say me and Acid Pro I just recently had a fallout. So thank you, Magic. When Acid was under Sony, it was never like that. So anyways, folks, that's the mix for today. I hope you enjoy it. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you like what's coming out of it, all right? Till then, peace out.